about it. If you really about it, tune on in, no need to sign it. Go and hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All the latest trending topics, we gon' talk about it. If you really about it, tune on in, no need to sign it. Go and hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Let's start it off with Mr. Brady, play the game to win it. Whatever that you think you analyzing, he gon' spin it. See note on the money, get it straight from the beginning. Hit you with some quotes before you know it's gon' be trending. These boys ain't no rookies, they some veterans like VA. That's why we got real ones on the team like that boy TA. No, I ain't for GA, but I do keep it the G-way. Just like that boy MB when he breaking down the replays. Let me prick your brain, who you pick to win the game. Cause I can't pick a thing until I hear from Jamie Drain. See, sum it up, come have some fun with us from 8 to 9. We do this every Wednesday, talking sports, we going live. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All the latest trending topics, we gon' talk about it. If you really about it, tune on in, no need to sign it. Go and hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Yeah, this following program is gonna be brought to you by Hello Black Man. Tune in every Wednesday.
Let's get it.
Let's get it, man. Hey, we're back. Baby. Another episode of Mike Talk Podcast. We on the mic, man. What the business is? What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up with you?
Hey, yo, ready to roll, baby.
You know we got some great questions lined up for you all tonight. We're gonna jump right in. What they say, without further ado, I see everybody going around the room. We got a man dressed in all black. You know what I'm saying? We got my boy TA dressed in all black. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Brad ripping the team. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. We got the Warriors in the building come out and play. And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like the color scheme for the Mike Talk Podcast because it was Warriors colors. I was like, oh, my God. Now I got to deal with that.
I knew it was fitting for me when I saw the colors.
You know what? I knew you connected with it immediately. You know what I'm saying? I got the Hello Black Man on. We also have all the way from New York City, have Blazer Kid, Aunt B in the building, Mr. Buy My Tie from Macy's. You know what I
mean? hey, man. We about to have a good show tonight, baby.
I knew it. You the first one in the rooms. I knew what kind of night we was having.
When I saw Ant enter the room, I was like, it's finna go down tonight. For real.
This how you gonna do me on my show? How you gonna do me? I said like that. You know, like you having a birthday party and you get dressed, and then you see somebody come through the door like 10 levels above. I'm like, damn, who party is? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how I felt like.
He making the birthday boy go change his clothes.
Right, like I gotta go. I gotta step back out. I gotta rethink this thing, man. I'm glad y'all here tonight, man. I know the information exchange will be absolutely phenomenal. So without further ado, first topic of the night: how do you see the NBA Finals matchup? How many games will it go? And what team will take home the trophy? Come on with it, Mr. Play to Win the Game. What you got for us?
Well, you know, it's a reason that you want me to go first. You know,
and you have an answer,
and I won't disappoint. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Simply put, the Mavs in 6.
Mavs,
as I previously said, I said Luka's the best player in the league, in my opinion. So I'm gonna roll with him. I think Tatum needs to play out of his mind for the Celtics to win. I don't see it in him as a player. So
okay.
That's it. Mavs in 6.
Mavs in 6. Talk to me, TA.
Okay, man. Listen, man. Glad to be back here with you guys. I'm gonna do like Brad. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because I know these basketball aficionados have got some deep insight to give you all. But I got the Mavs as well. I got the Mavs in 6. And I'm gonna tell you why. The simple fact is, it's not about the best team because I think the Celtics are the best team.
Okay.
but it's about the team that's playing the best at this time. And I think the Mavericks are playing a lot better basketball. And it puts me in the mindset of, 2011 Maverick team, the team that beat the Heat. And it's not about them being, because the Heat were the better team, but it's about the players on the team being out their mind. I think Kyrie right now is playing completely out of his mind. He got something to prove. And I think he wants to prove that he can win and do it, one, against his former team, but two, without LeBron James. And so he's got those things on his shoulder, whether he says it or not. And I think he's going to go out there now. The only thing that would make me change my mind is if Porzingis comes back off this injury and plays at a healthy standpoint. That may change or swing the series, but if it's just Brown and Tatum playing like they've been playing, I got the Mavs in 6.
Ooh. Okay. Let's go up top. And B, Titan. We tight. Okay, yeah. You when you talk, I want to see a little. Hey, yeah.
Y'all know who I'm rocking with, man. I called it on the first show. I said Boston Celtics. That's who I had to win it, and that's who I'm gonna stick with. And why I say that is because I think Boston, when you look at it, the Mavericks is playing very good ball right now. But like I told you, if Jaylen Brown can be that alpha dog and Tatum just fall back, I do see the Boston Celtics winning that one in 6. Also, you got KP back, first game back, but you get to feel him out. I honestly don't think that. I think Boston can get by with Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown getting in foul trouble because of the depth that they have on that roster. But when you look at it, Luka gonna have to guard somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people out there that can shoot that ball and put the ball in the hoop. Kyrie as well. So I don't think that those guys can afford to get in foul trouble and, spend a lot of time on the bench, or the Mavs is really gonna be in trouble.
Interesting. I got you.
But I got Boston in 6. Boston
in 6. Let's go, C-Note. Talk to me.
Well, I'm gonna say it like this: Boston has the better team. They had a deeper team. They had the most depths. But it comes down to who do you trust the most? Who's gonna close the game? Which coach is gonna make the right adjustments? If you look at the history of this year, I think Boston's dominated the games. They won, I want to say 138 to 110, and they also won 119 to 110. All games have been blowouts. But a lot of this stuff happened before the trade, but the last win actually happened after the trade. So again, I think Dallas is a little bit undermanned. So I think the key component is going to be, can they keep the game close going into the fourth quarter and going into crunch time? That's Dallas's sweet spot. That's when Kyrie and Luka wakes up and enforce their will on the game and ensure the win. But again, the history says that Boston has dominated in terms of their matchups. I think the unique matchup is going to be Jrue Holiday versus Kyrie Irving, then switching out with Derek White on Kyrie Irving, things like that. And also, can Derek Lively guard the unicorn, Porzingis out on the three-point line, getting him away from the basket? Is that going to open up the lane when you do get him away from the basket? It's going to be a chess match. I really anticipate Boston winning the first couple of games. They may win the first 2 games. But Jason Kidd has impressed me all season. He's been the best coach in the NBA to me in terms of adjustments and putting guys in the right spot. He may have to take out one of his bigs and maybe insert a guy like what's his name, PJ Washington in the starting lineup to go smaller to match up a little bit better, because Boston is going to space you out.
Yeah,
they're going to shoot the ball. So so can the guys keep it? Can Dallas keep the game close going into the fourth? That's very key. So I anticipate it going maybe, I say 7. I think it's going to be a dog fight going all the way to 7 games. I think at the end of the day is going to end with Dallas in 7. That's what I said from the very beginning of the playoffs, and that's what I'm sticking to.
I like it. And I respect everybody's opinion on how this series is going to go. I have Boston in a gentleman's sweep.
Ooh.
4-1.
Ooh.
I got Boston in a gentleman's sweep 4-1. This is why. The Celtics possess the best offense in the regular season and the number 2 defense in the regular season. So now you have, that's the league best. Those two components gave them 64 wins. And it's probably the most unheralded 64 win team in the history of the NBA. Most times you get to 60, like, oh, they won 60. They won 64 casually with no fanfare. They got the best starting 5 in the league. You got Jaylen Brown, you got Tatum, they have 3 third players. If any of those 3 score 20, it's not amazing. Most players most times you got a 1-2 punch. And if your third player is giving you 15-8, 15-10, a high 17, it's a great night. For them, you have Jrue Holiday. If Jrue Holiday scores 24, it won't amaze anyone. If Derek White scores 24, it won't amaze anyone. If Porzingis scores 24, it won't amaze anyone. So they have so many weapons. This is their 3, 4, and 5 scores. So if any of those players have a great game, it's going to be impossible to beat them. So now you're talking about defense. So they have length, they have size, they have speed. They are deep. They're going to run an 8-man rotation, and they're going to bring pressure. One thing I saw with them versus Indiana picked up the Knicks full court. And I didn't think NBA team did that anymore. I was like, man, what are they doing? Like they pressing the inbound. And then I saw Boston do it. They're not doing it full court on the inbound, but they're doing it at the free throw line. So when that ball gets to the free throw line, that's going to slow down the possession for Dallas. And Dallas literally they have 2 great closers. Absolutely. If you had to pick the top 5 closers in the NBA, 2 are on Dallas. I think what's going to happen, they're going to push Dallas into their shot clock early into the game, 4 shots. And once they get behind, and they will get behind, but once they get behind, unless they're shooting extremely well, then they don't have a third scorer that is consistent enough to put enough pressure on Boston. And Boston shoots to 3. They're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. They have defense, the number 2 defense, and then they are a very solid 3-point shooting team in the league. That's my final prediction. Of course, the X factor is Porzingis coming off that 10-game calf injury. And if calf injuries are really funny because he can get out there and not be able to go like OG Anunoby for the Knicks had a hamstring injury. So any kind of calf injury pull, a muscle pull, sometimes you get out there, you get loose, you forget you have it. Or Anunoby would get out there, he played 2 minutes, they took him out. So of course they are monitoring it, and I've seen him shooting around. He appears to be able to step out, shoot the 3, run the floor. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Boston go with some type of zone on defense to hide Porzingis, so he's not running around behind anyone. And especially if he has to bang with Lively and the other center, what's the guy's name for Dallas? They have the
Gafford, Daniel Gafford.
Yeah. So those guys, they going to get it. They active, and you don't want him banging on a calf down low. But other than that, the scoring is just too much. It's too fast. Luka is not the fastest. Kyrie is quicker than he is fast. But I think it's just too much. I think if they have to match up with Tatum, and like TA said, Luka has to guard somebody all night. You can't leave Derek White open. You can't leave.
I'm gonna say Porzingis is gonna be the X factor for this whole entire series, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna get off to a really good start in the series. I think he's gonna be the key to win Boston winning game 1, because I have Boston winning and covering game 1.
Okay.
But the reason I say that, I think Porzingis is gonna come out. First of all, he's fully rested. He's coming off an injury. He feels really guilty about not being there for his guys coming through the playoffs because he hadn't really played a game yet. So that being said, the biggest X factor is Porzingis is gonna be playing with a chip on his shoulder because there's who's this guy name? Used to play Chandler Parsons. He made a report that Porzingis and Luka didn't get along. He said Luka didn't enjoy playing with Porzingis. And it was kind of a really salty departure when Porzingis left. You know, it was kind of like he didn't get the ball enough. A lot of blame was on Porzingis because they wasn't winning. The chemistry wasn't there. So I really think Porzingis is going to play with a chip on his shoulder and show them that, you know, they should have kept him, or he could have done this for them. He's going to come out with that real, you know, that real firm, you know, get back in him. You know, he's going to have that get back. You know, he's going to be very revengeful oriented. So I think he's going to come out with a different type of energy. So I think he's going to play well. But I think what the fans are not really buying in with Boston Boston lost to the Miami Heat last year, choked. Yep. You know, they was up, I want to say 3-2 or 3-1, and Heat won the last two games. Yep. They was up on the Warriors 2-1. Yep. Steph strung his ankle. You know, they had all the momentum. Steph came back and dropped, you know, 44 on them and won the game. And, you know, they didn't win another game after that. You know, so it's like people have a reluctance to trust Tatum and Brown in these moments. You know, yeah, they're good in the regular season. They're good in the Eastern Conference. But when they face the Western Conference in the finals, or when they face a big game in the Western Conference final, even LeBron beat them back in the day earlier in 2019 coming through there. You know, they just haven't seized the moment when the opportunity has been at its highest. So I just don't think people trust Tatum in these kind of moments. And it's like, you know, who's gonna bet against Tyree and Luka?
Another key member for me is the Holiday, right? The Holiday signing. You know what you're getting with Holiday. He's taking no crazy shots. He's not trying to take over the game. He's gonna distribute the ball. He's gonna play tough defense. So no matter who he's guarding, if it's Kyrie, if it's Luka, they're going to have to, if it's Washington, they're going to have to work all night. We're talking about all defensive players here. So especially with him and Brown, you got two all defensive NBA players in your front court. So I got 4-1, gentlemen sweep. I got Boston. Moving on to the NFL. Which quarterback in the NFL is under the most pressure to win right now? You have Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers, Brock Purdy, my boy Purdy. Also, I want you to rank their level of urgency or need to win 1 through 6. 1 being the one who needs to win most, and 6 being the one who needs to win the least. And I want you to type that into the comments so we have a record of your pick. Let's go, NB. Let's go with the.
I figured y'all would come to me first, so you know what I'm saying. Y'all probably not gonna like my pick, but I actually went with my guy Brock Purdy, and the reason I say that, you know what I'm saying, the reason why I say Brock Purdy, you know what I'm saying, has to win the most is because the team right now is loaded with offensive weapons. And looking at the 49ers roster, if you did an average age in the NFL, the 49ers has the oldest roster at 27 years. Of course, you got people like George Kittle, Trent Williams, CMC. Those guys, time is not – they don't have much more time left in the, you know what I'm saying, NFL where they're going to be dominant at a high level. So I think that Brock Purdy really has to go ahead on and get it done because, hey, when we're going to be looking at, you know, rebuild mode here soon, and I don't see him being able to just take a young team like C.J. Stroud did with the Texans and just go out there and lead the 49ers to, you know, to the third round of the playoffs or anything like that. Okay. Now, as far as how I ranked them, I got, of course, Brock Purdy 1, Dak Prescott number 2, Josh Allen number 3, Lamar Jackson 4, Jalen Hurts 5, and Aaron Rodgers 6.
Big pass for Rodgers. Giving Rodgers a big pass.
Well, I mean, Rodgers already done it. I mean, at this point, I mean, he went to Green Bay. He's already gotten his. I mean, we're talking about getting over the hump and winning the rings. I mean, Rodgers already got his. I mean, it's not going to be I don't think it'll be a big disappointment if he doesn't win with the Jets because, I mean, look, we're talking about the New York Jets, Jets. So,
I got you. Understood.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go to TA. Let's go to Dak. You see how I went to Purdy and then with that? I don't know if y'all caught it. Y'all could caught it. I'm just letting y'all know I know what I'm doing. Come on with it, Mr. Prescott.
Man, listen, I the easy pick would be for me to say Dak, right? And I do think Dak has a lot of pressure to win. But I think that another quarterback that has more pressure in my mind outside of Brock Purdy, I do agree with B on that situation, but it's another quarterback in the NFC East, and that's Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, similar to Brock Purdy, has a lot of offensive weapons. They spent a lot of money on wide receivers. They just brought in Saquon Barkley. You know, they got a nice tight end. They've got a lot of weapons on defense to complement that offense. And then, you know, it's just his time. They need to get over that hump, and not being able to finish the job in the last couple of years. In Philadelphia, is a tough market. I don't think people really understand how demanding Philadelphia market is as far as players and especially quarterbacks are concerned. Listen, they gave Donovan McNabb a hard time. They've given a lot of the quarterbacks that have come in, Carson Wentz, a hard time. I mean, they've given these quarterbacks the blues, even though they've come in and performed well. And Carson Wentz went through the same thing, and they shipped him out of there. So I think Jalen Hurts has a lot of pressure on him to come in and do what it is that he needs to get done as far as finishing the job. And the one that's the least amount of pressure, I agree. I'll go with Aaron Rodgers as well. Aaron Rodgers already has one. Him going to New York puts him in a situation where if he does finish the job, it's a complimentary piece. It's a complimentary ring. Honestly, no one expects them to do it. And the only reason they have an expectation of them to do it is because he's there. And the truth of the matter is that I don't think there's a lot of demand or pressure for him to win it. They would like to see him win it, and they have the tools to be able to do so. But I don't think that it's a situation where he has to, where it's a lot of pressure. And if you just want him in order, then you go into Brock Purdy, I think, Dak Prescott, and then Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson's right above Aaron Rodgers for me. I think Lamar Jackson having the MVPs under his belt, there's some pressure there, but I don't think that pressure is as large or looms as large as Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts will.
Put it on
or even Dak Prescott for that matter. And Dak Prescott plays for America's team. I just want y'all to know that. Listen, I'm not a huge Dak Prescott fan. I just came from Mississippi State a couple days ago. Dak Prescott's home school, college school, man. Listen, they love him up here. He's about to get paid, so that should be an incentive for him to want to go out and win. But I don't know that he has the pieces that those other people have. People may argue that point, but this year I don't know that he has the pieces necessarily to do what the other teams have to do.
I got you. C-Note on the money. Talk to me about the quarterbacks in the NFL. Who has the pressure? Where is it?
Y'all know who my team is, right? I'm a Ravens fan, die hard, and everybody know I bleed purple and black. It is what it is. But the player with the most pressure is definitely Lamar Jackson, hands down. It's not even close to me because, okay, been there, done that, regular season MVP. What are you doing in the playoffs? He's 2-4 in the playoffs. You know, you gotta understand how he's ending games in these situations. He's throwing interceptions. He's throwing turnovers. You know, yesterday they had the game right there in their hand, you know, back and forth, close game. He throws interception in the end zone. But terrible pass and triple coverage. I got to be hard on my guy. You know, I'm a Raven fan, but I got to hold him accountable. Who did they get in free agency? Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the league. You know, the Ravens have the best rushing attack in football for the last 4 or 5 years because of Lamar Jackson. So to bring that partner in like Derrick Henry, I mean, the running game is going to be unstoppable. So the fans are on the edge of their seats. We went to the AFC Championship last year. The next step is the Super Bowl. You got to get there. You got to get over the hump. You know, we've done this song and dance. For them to go in the playoffs and get eliminated before the Super Bowl again this year is going to be a huge, huge disappointment. I'm going to be upset. Everybody I know that's Ravens fans is going to be upset. And the media is going to be on Lamar Jackson, and he's supposed to take the responsibility, and deservedly so. Also, we had the best defense in the NFL last year when it comes to points against. We held all the teams to the least amount of points in the whole NFL. We lost a few defensive players, but we also gained a few defensive players. Our defense should be intact, and we should have a good defense. So if you think about, we have two of the best tight ends in the football. We have a good combo there. We have really good young wide receivers. We have everything Lamar needs to be successful. And if he doesn't if he doesn't succeed this year, it's going to be a huge disappointment. So he's definitely at the top of the list, and I don't think it's close. All right, and to put it in order, obviously Lamar's one. I'm gonna say number 2. I'm gonna go with. Brock Purdy as well, like TA. Then I'm gonna go with Dak, and I'll go with Jalen Hurts, and then Josh Allen, and then A-Rod.
Okay, sounds good. Mr. Play to win the game.
Yes, sir. I talk football to a lot of people.
Okay.
And I got a guy that's been hounding me for being a hater of black quarterbacks.
Oh.
So, and that's not the thing. I mean, I just hate the way the media and everybody puts black quarterbacks in a box. Like, you either labeled as a scrambler or athletic quarterback.
Yeah.
I just want a quarterback that has athletic ability.
Yeah. I like it.
Or just call him a great quarterback.
Yeah.
So, like Cino said, man, it's Lamar for me. And
number one.
They say I don't like Lamar. That's not true. I think Lamar is a superior talent.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably one of the greatest talents we've seen in our lifetime on the football field as a quarterback.
Yeah.
The ability he has is unmatched, right? But, like I said, Lamar, when it comes down to it, can he make the passes to win the game?
Yeah.
We know he can run. He led the Ravens in rushing for the last couple of years.
Right.
Yeah.
So we know he has that type of talent, but when it comes down, okay, you go out, you get Derrick Henry. So having Henry in the backfield, it's going to give defenses something else to focus on, and hopefully that cuts down on Lamar being the focal point of the run game.
Right.
And he really improved this past year in passing. The new coordinator came in and he played to Lamar's strengths. Give him a little rollout passes, give him a little short pass, then go deep.
Monkey.
Right. He's not just making Lamar stand on the spot. He's allowing him to be mobile and move around. But, Lamar, when it comes down to it, like you said, playoffs, they just beat the Titans in the playoffs a couple years ago. But before that, the Titans had the Ravens number in the playoffs.
Yeah, last 2 seasons before.
Yeah, so now you got Henry. They went out, I've always said I think Lamar needs a big receiver. Now, when I say a big receiver, I'm talking about a receiver with a wide catch radius. Right, like a Keon Coleman or something like that.
Yeah. You want to throw back.
Yeah, well, he don't have to be pinpoint accurate to get him the ball.
Yeah.
And they drafted the little receiver Tez Walker from North Carolina in the 4th round. Now he's a solid. He could be a solid receiver, but he's not the receiver Lamar needs, in my opinion. Now, this is just my opinion. But you had a guy 6'7" out there, and Johnny Wilson in the draft, who I think would have been perfect for the Ravens offense, because that's another mismatch that you can put out there.
Yeah,
Bateman ain't lived up to the hype. They put so much on Mark Andrews. They overworked that guy in the ground. Now, I like Zay Flowers. I like Zay.
I like Zay.
After that,
Isaiah Likely.
Likely, he's solid. Yeah, Likely is solid. But I still think they're missing that big target, you know. But, you know, we'll see what happens. But to me, the pressure is on Lamar. Now, ranking them, of course, Lamar, number 1. Number 2, Jalen Hurts. You were MVP candidate last year.
Black quarterbacks.
Yeah. Hey, you know, it is what it is. I never been a fan of Hurts coming out of college. He got beat out by Tua, and you see what he doing in Miami. He got all the receiver speed that you can imagine, video game wise and real life, and he's still struggling. They don't want to pay that man because he ain't worth it. So then you got Dak. What else can you say about Dak? Dak has had multiple opportunities to do it. He couldn't get it done. Dak is just like your boy with the Celtics, Tatum. He talented.
You can't trust it.
When it comes down to the big game, man, he'll fold up like some fresh laundry. Then you got Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I think he gets a lot of hate, you know, but Josh Allen is a superior quarterback. He's a better passer than, you know, Lamar and those guys, to me. Purdy, game manager.
Oh,
Cam Newton explained the game manager.
Brad Cousin.
He that's what he is. I'm fine with a game manager because I told you what I want is my quarterback to put the ball in the end zone, not turn it over.
Right.
Purdy don't turn it over a lot until you get into the big game, then he'll fold a little bit, but he's capable of winning the big games. And like I said, Rodgers is basically out here just trying to put some icing on his cake.
Yeah.
He done got his Super Bowl. He done got his MVPs and all that. He's just out there trying to prove something to some, you know, to the next man and say, hey, I'm still that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, lock that pressure in on Lamar.
Let me interject something that Brad was just saying. I totally agree with Brad as far as the Ravens needing a big wide receiver. I've been asking for it for a long time. I actually wanted them to get DeAndre Hopkins over Odell Beckham at the time. They had opportunity to get either one of those guys last year, and they ended up going with Beckham because he was available first, and Hopkins became available shortly after. So you know, it kind of gives Lamar a big catch radius, and it allows him more margin for error with his passes, which is what he needs. You know, somewhere he can just throw it up in one-on-one coverage, and the guy just catch the 50-50 balls, and that's what he really needs. And to another point, reason Jamie looked at me funny when I put San Francisco Brock Purdy as my number 2 guy, you know, in terms of need to win. The reason why I put San Francisco and Brock Purdy number 2 is for a unique reason. It has nothing to do with Brock Purdy. It has everything to do with Shanahan, the biggest choke artist in NFL history, you know, when it comes to the big games. So I think, you know, again, Shanahan, he lost to Atlanta. That was the biggest embarrassment in NFL history, in my opinion, when he lost to Atlanta lost to
New England.
New England. Tom Brady.
They was what, 35-3 or something, and came and they came back and won. And then against Mahomes and the Chiefs, when he was 49ers head coach, they were up 10, I want to say, in the fourth quarter. And Kansas City came back and won. And then, you know, he just always – and then last year he had some questionable coaching decisions in the Super Bowl. He just never gets over the hump. 49ers been at the threshold and at the finish line for, you know, the last 5 years. They've been, you know, in and out the Super Bowl. Yeah. So 49ers hadn't been in the Super Bowl. Think about this, since Jerry Rice and Joe Montana days, Steve Young days. You know, that you know, this is back in the late 90s.
Just like the Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I think there's a lot of pressure on the 49ers to win as an organization, not necessarily Brock Purdy. That was kind of the reason why I picked them at number 2.
They're not like the Cowboys. Now, Kaepernick had them in the Super Bowl against the Ravens.
Oh, they've been in the Super Bowl. They've been in the Super Bowl a few times. I mean, they compete.
Winning though.
Yeah, we go. Hey, look, we like 0-3 right now. You know what I'm saying?
I have a different.
Oh
take.
yeah, don't forget they lost to the Ravens back in with my boy Flacco.
Yeah.
0-3, like my boy said. Yeah.
Great take from everybody. My take is just a little different, and I got a little different type of hate. All right. My sixth man is A-Rod, like Brad said. Icing on the cake. It's the Joe Montana in Kansas City tour, right? He gets a chance to go play. If he does great, that's great. If he doesn't do great, hey man, he brought a lot of talent. He brought the eyes over. Maybe he can get a free agent to come over to play with him. You know, maybe next year, the way the cap is, just to open up the eyes to what the Jets may be in the future. That defense is a problem up there. The Jets defense is for real. So yes, I mean, so it's no pressure on him. So I got him as my sixth man. My fifth man going up, I got Brock Purdy. Why he's so low? Because he's still, in the NFL terms, he's relatively new as a starter. He's had some injuries. So if he doesn't win it all this year, they still say he's the quarterback of the future. He's still looked at as a relatively young quarterback. They're saying, hey, in the next 6 seasons, Purdy is the guy. So he does have time. He has time on his side right now. Of course, he is establishing himself as a solid starter, top tier, top 10 quarterback. I don't care if he's a manager, gunslinger, Star Trek. I don't know what you want to call him. But he's definitely established himself as, hey, I want this guy as my quarterback. So I got him number 5. Number 4, number 4, I got Dak Prescott. Turning up the heat a little bit, contract year. Been there, done that. If he does not do well, the Cowboys have been very loyal to Dak. And what happens there? So there's a little uncertainty there. So that pressure is there from a Cowboy franchise standpoint, and is there from a free agency standpoint. So, hey, what is my career like outside of Dallas? So he has to, that turns it up a notch for him personally. Number 3, I have Lamar Jackson. NFL, one of the top NFL talents. I have him number 3 because experts say he's not an elite quarterback anyway. So he's not going to get the same tier volatile kickback. It's going to be the same kickback he's gotten over the last 6 years. He's not a true quarterback. We didn't expect him to be able to pass in the playoffs anyway. We pretty much know what we're going to get from him. But it is above that because the Ravens are loaded. They're loaded on defense. They have veteran presence on the offensive side of the ball. They're expecting to win. They're expected to run deep into the playoffs. My number 2 guy is Jalen Hurts. I hate Hurts. I hate him worse than Brad hated him. He garbage to me. I hate seeing complete a pass. I don't think the man is talented at all. I swear I don't. I think he's been surrounded by some phenomenal talent and some phenomenal coaching and some phenomenal schemes. I wouldn't put him on 4 other teams and expect anything. I literally wouldn't. If you put him in, they say, well, you can interchange all the quarterbacks and they can do that. No, you can't. No, you cannot. I don't expect Hurts to do nothing magical. I don't. But my number 1, and this is my number 1, I hate Josh Allen. Oh my God. So listen, when you're talking about a stat sheet stuffer, your Michael, your Westbrooks, your LeBron James, the people that say, oh, they just go get stats. This dude is Jeff George, man. He's not Dan Marino. He's Jeff George. He's just out there throwing the ball around. He don't care who catch it. He is so garbage to me. The fact that people put him as an elite quarterback, he is not. He is Brett Favre in Minnesota. He just out there to throw the ball. He just throwing it around. It looks good when it works. It looks good when it works. When it don't work, you wondering how is this guy starting? Why is he throwing into triple coverage 3 possessions in a row? 2 of them picked off. and he has no remorse. He goes right back out there. The next pass could be in double coverage, and he's trying to figure out why I didn't get a flag on that. No, the man is 10 yards in front of your man. I hate Josh Allen. I want this to be the defining year in his career to be Jeff George. He's not Dan Marino. People think he's Dan Marino. Oh, listen, he has he's done this. He's been there. He can't win the big games.
Jamie, let me ask you a question.
Come on with it.
What do you think about the scapegoat they're going to allow him? Because he already got a built-in reason as to why he didn't win. Then they're going to say he didn't have a number one receiver this year, and his best receiver was a rookie. They already got that built in for him.
I know it. And it aggravates me. It aggravates me because he should be making the number one receiver. That's what you're asking Lamar to do. You're saying Lamar is not a top tier elite passer. So you understand he needs X amount of elite receivers around him on the offensive side of the ball. Then you go to Josh Allen and you got an excuses. Oh, he needs Jerry Rice and he needs T.O. and Randy Moss. Like, what does he need to win? Is he elite quarterback or is he not? I am not a fan of Josh Allen. I'm not a fan at all. I hope the Bills don't make it to the playoffs. If they go, I hope they lose first round. I want it to be clear. I do hate Josh Allen. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. Okay. Lamario Kurtzkin says Allen is a player, man. He is. He's awesome on Madden. Don't do that. He just can't beat Mahomes. He can't beat a lot of people because he ain't won nothing. It's obviously it's a few people he can't beat because he ain't won nothing. He has thrown some untimed interception as an elite passer. Not Lamar Jackson say he struggled with his passes, with his accuracy. You know, he's getting better. Of course, Brad said he has improved. But you make Josh Allen out to be Joe Montana-esque, John Elway-ish, Dan Marino-ish. And where's the hardware? What hardware has he brought in?
This is my thing. We can't go there because it's just like under Michael Jordan. All those great players, Patrick Ewing, what did he get? Nothing. Charles Barkley, what did he get? Nothing. All those Hall of Fame players got nothing. Exactly. Patrick Mahomes over there in the AFC, no, Josh Allen cannot beat him. Lamar Jackson cannot beat him. Joe Burrow, the only man that had a chance to beat him.
They did
Can't do it.
Right. But now he can't.
Yeah.
Mahomes is levels above those other guys over there.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is a solid quarterback. Y'all, I mean, I
think Josh is a solid quarterback as well. I'm not as down on him.
I think he is an NFL quarterback, nothing more.
Name 5 quarterbacks in the AFC better than him.
Listen, I can name you. I can name you 32 players I would start over Josh Allen.
You out of your mind.
I start 32 players over him.
You crazy.
Hey, we're gonna have to get him in one of them Madden trades and get Josh Allen and send him a bag of peanuts so we can get Josh Allen on the team.
Yeah, I don't think, to your point, to Jamie's point, I think Josh Allen is a top tier quarterback. I just think he looks bad in the big games. When he's asked to do it at that high level, he looks really, I mean, I hate to be this way, he looks Dak-esque in big games. Like he throws the ball.
Let me say this. In Allen's defense, the game that comes to mind for me is the best playoff game in terms of scoring points of all time that I ever seen. When him and Mahomes went tick for tack, he lost, but that dude put up maybe 7 touchdowns and no interceptions that game.
Yeah, he got plenty of other games.
Hold on. The defense let them down. Mahomes scored with like 10 seconds left. Everybody had thought the Bills had won.
Right.
It was like 10 seconds left in the game, and the Bills basically had won. I had stopped watching the game. And Mahomes drove them down the field with 13 seconds and won the game.
Quarterback gave him a chance. Defense just and they let him down.
I'm just not as hard down on him as y'all. I'm not high on him either, but
he's Jeff George.
I ain't gonna say that. He's not Jeff George now. He's not that man.
He got
Jeff George might have better stats than him. I'm finna go look the stats up. Jeff George got better stats than Josh Allen.
The only thing they got in common is arm strength. That's it.
Yeah,
Jeff
he
Jordan
definitely.
going into, man, please. Jeff
We
Jordan.
we don't milk this cow enough. Let's go on, bro.
All right, next on the board, we have. Hold on, let me see if y'all can. Let me play this for a second. Let me. Where is it at? Man, I messed it up. We have a 1v1 round one. Right. PA versus C-Note on the money. Did the Warriors need KD, Kevin Durant, one of the top players in the NBA history, to solidify themselves as a dynasty? We're going to back out, give these guys the floor, and let's see what happens.
So I guess you gonna let me go first. You gonna give me the
first, bro.
No, I think the simple part of this is, did they need him to win a championship? No, obviously they didn't need him to win a championship. Did they need him? But the question becomes, did they need him to sustain or to solidify a dynasty? And I think absolutely. Prior to that 2015 NBA championship, you had LeBron, who almost averaged a triple-double in the finals, and literally got Andre Iguodala the MVP because he held him to whatever 35, 40-some% shooting, or whatever the case may have been. LeBron went clean off in the finals. Should have probably won MVP in a losing effort without Kyrie, without Kevin Love. Then you come into the 2016, and I know some of the pundits say the reason that the Warriors lost the 2016 finals was because of the Draymond suspension, Andrew Bogut getting hurt. But that the simple point and the simple fact of the matter is they were still up 3-1. They were up 3-1. They lost 3 straight games, the last of which was literally at their home, on their home court. So, you kind of offset those two. Now, what happened after that? The media said that Draymond Green and others went and recruited Kevin Durant. There's a reason you go and recruit someone to come and play with you. Yes, I want to play with the best players. Yes, I want to have the best opportunities to win. But you just came off a 73-9 season. You knew you needed help because all things being even, I feel like the Cavaliers give them really a good final series for the next few years. They ran off another couple straight with Kevin Durant being the MVP, finals MVP in both of those scenarios. So, yes, I think in order to win 3 out of 4, I think they needed Kevin Durant. It was a reason they went and got him, and they got him for the purpose. They were a dominant team. They were difficult to beat. They were a matchup nightmare because you have 3 of the best shooters of all time on the court, along with the glue guy, with Draymond Green kind of leading the way, doing the dirty work that nobody else wanted to do. So, yeah, they needed him. Now, Steph redeemed himself when they beat Boston a couple years ago, and he finally got his first finals MVP out of 4 chances. I give him credit for that. But to run off those 3 out of 4, to get those 2 straight, especially with Kevin Durant leading the way in the finals, yeah, they needed him to win and to go into that dynasty mode that they went into.
Okay. I appreciate your opinionated responses, but I'm going to hit you with a few facts that probably going to be inarguable, even though, everybody going to see it the way they want to see it. But I'm going to say, obviously, no, they did not need Kevin Durant. Were they better with Kevin Durant? Of course they were. Kevin Durant made them almost unbeatable. But could they have beaten the Cavs without Kevin Durant? Yes, they proved it. The Warriors were, again, 73-9 without him in the season. Right here, this graphic show in the middle of the screen that without Kevin Durant in the 3 years that they played together, Steph was 32-4 without Kevin Durant. When Steph didn't play and Kevin Durant played, they were 28-18. That's a 73-9, projection versus a almost 49-35 or some odd projection. That's a huge fall off. Steph was always the straw that stirred the camel back. Yes, KD helped, but let me say this: in in the years that they did not have KD when they played LeBron, they played a total of 13 games. The record was 7-6 in favor of the Warriors without KD. You're gonna say most people gonna say that they didn't have Kyrie and Love, so that's why they lost the first finals. Okay, let's do it when everybody had everybody. Guess what the record was? It was 4 games in which both teams had all players, all starters for both teams. Those 4 games were the first 4 games of the 2016 finals. The record was 3-1. The Warriors were winning 3-1. Bogut got hurt. Bogut had a 5-block game and a 3-block game. He was causing havoc in the paint with his blocks and preventing LeBron and Kyrie from getting to the backs. He got hurt game 4, and then game 5 they was missing Draymond and Bogut, because Draymond got suspended. That's the game that Kyrie and LeBron both had 4-1. The lane was wide open. No Draymond in there, no Bogut in there. Both of them was getting to the hole at will. Kyrie one of the best finishers at the reel in the game. LeBron one of the best finishers in NBA history. So the hole was wide open. Game 6, Iguodala was carried off the floor. He had back spasms, back problem. They carried him off the floor in the in the third quarter or something. That game, Bogut wasn't there again. Obviously, Steph wasn't 100%, but there's no excuse for that. He played, so he got to be held accountable for his performance. Game 7 came down to the best shot or most clutch shot, arguably in NBA history, with Kyrie, and the most clutch block, arguably in NBA history. Came down to basically one shot that won the game. There were like 5 or 6 possessions where nobody scored in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and Kyrie finally hit the shot and put him up by 3. Then, all of that. So you got to look at the fact that, the games were that close without KD, and they proved they can win with a fully healthy roster without KD 3-1 when both teams had everybody. So what evidence is there that they needed KD at any point? Also,
they didn't win a championship. They didn't win with both teams fully healthy. They didn't win a championship without KD. When both teams were fully so the only missing piece.
The Warriors were not fully healthy. I just made that point.
What I'm saying is the only missing piece in game 6 and game 7 was Andrew Bogut.
Game 6 and game 7.
Half of the
game, Iguodala and Bogut missed the last 3 games. So he was very important.
So the only missing piece in the game 6, they were up 3-1. I get the Draymond game, so that puts you up 3-2. You still got 1 game. You got 2 games to win 1. So the only person that was missing them last 2 games for a substantial period of time was Andrew Bogut.
And he was a very let me say this, TA. The Warriors had very little margin for error. First of all, the Cavs team was just as talented, if not more talented. You got LeBron, he's better than Steph. You got Kyrie, is probably on Steph level, but Steph is slightly better, obviously, because of the accolades and his impact. But as far as the talent, most would argue that LeBron and the Cavs had more talent than the Warriors. So for the Warriors to be, I'm just saying, some would argue that. But for the Warriors to be missing Bogut, a guy that was a really, really impactful player and a starter in terms of defense and closing out the lane and blocking the lane for Bron and Kyrie to getting into it. It comes down to 1 and 2 possessions, like the last possession of the game in this game 7. Hypothetically, Bogut was out there. We could have said, maybe he prevent 2 or 3 buckets down the stretch and the Warriors could have won. Who knows? My point is, every starter matters, especially a starter that with the impact of a big like Bogut. And when you got people putting pressure on the rim like a Kyrie and a LeBron. Another point I want to make.
Go ahead.
2019 run when KD got hurt. KD got hurt game 2 or 3 against the Rockets. The Warriors went straight to the finals without KD they swept Portland. They beat Houston with Chris Paul and Harden and all them boys. And that's the same Chris Paul and Harden team that should have beat them the prior year when Chris Paul got hurt and they went 7. And everybody said the Rockets would have won if Chris Paul hadn't got hurt. They beat that same team without KD. And then they went and swept Portland and they met Toronto in the finals. And for whatever reason, Clay got hurt. and KD got hurt. Klay, game 1, Klay played, they lost that game. Game 2, Klay played, they won. Game 3, Klay, he was hurt. He didn't play game 3. Steph played by himself game 3, scored 47 points. And I would surmise that if Klay had played, they probably, would have won their game 3. But he didn't play. Game 4, they lost. Game 5, they won when Klay played again. And game 6, they were up like 7, and Klay got hurt like the last 5 minutes when they were up 7, and they ended up losing game 6, and they lost the finals. So Klay's injury without KD impacted that series immensely. Who knows who would have won had Klay not gotten hurt? So that they probably would have won that. And also, lastly, let's say hypothetically that the Cavs win 2017 with KD, right? I mean, without KD, because they had Kyrie there.
Right,
2018, there was no Kyrie Irving.
Right.
So I could argue that without KD, they would have beat that team because they swept that team with KD. Without KD, they probably beat a LeBron team without Kyrie in maybe 6 games, just like they did in 2015.
Yeah.
So again, there's no evidence that they needed KD.
Well, I don't disagree with that 2018 with the 19 assessment. What I will say is this: with the stat that you put up about the games played with and without KD and this, that, and the third, the simple truth is this: when they had an opportunity with Steph and Klay and the main pieces on the floor, game 6 and game 7, when it mattered the most, those guys couldn't get it done. They went and got KD, and it was not an issue. They literally eviscerated competition for 2 complete years. And the only reason they lost to the Toronto Raptors was because KD got hurt. KD was literally on his way. Like, he came back from an injury. He was on his way to probably going for a 3rd finals MVP because everybody understood that he was that missing piece and he was that part. So
KD and Klay, though. Don't believe that fact that Klay missed 2 games in that series.
Man, listen, nobody is putting Klay in no MVP talks. And
I'm
again,
just saying for winning. I'm not saying
he's a pivotal piece, but we're talking about pieces that were needed. KD and Steph are the pieces. Kyrie and LeBron are the pieces. They needed KD to get over that hump. They knew that, because here's the thing: if he's 73 and 9 and you don't need him, then why go get him? But you want to have the best. You want to have the best players. You want to have the best players on the court. Last thing I'm gonna say about it, because I know we got a whole another segment, but the part that I really want to make sure that we understand is that KD was necessary, because here's the part that people don't want to admit. He was necessary because they were struggling. They literally gave Andre Iguodala an MVP for holding LeBron James to 35 points a game. They were struggling to get past this team, man, and they knew it. They knew that they had it. LeBron won 2 games in 2015 without Kyrie or Kevin Love. He was in his peak. They knew they were going to have a struggle on their hands. I would have gotten KD too. If I was LeBron, he should have gone and gotten KD and to go play in Cleveland. But that's my point. That's the only thing. They needed him to get over it. Okay. 2 finals MVPs. They needed that. They needed that type of offensive production to get past that LeBron team.
Let me close out with this. They recruited KD simply because Harrison Barnes was a free agent. He was gone. He was leaving. He was a max contract that they had to fill. KD happened to play small forward just like Harrison Barnes. Why not go out and get the best person in free agency available? You wouldn't be a good GM if you didn't do that. And also, let me tell you this. This is a fact. LeBron and Gilbert for the Cavs, they also recruited KD that season. Go look that up.
Got him. And he would have been necessary.
So everybody, only a fool wouldn't recruit KD. Everybody in the NBA recruited KD. The Warriors.
But let's not act like Steph didn't need him though. Let's not act like Steph didn't need him.
For KD, he wanted to play for the Warriors before he left OKC. They didn't even have to recruit him. KD said he wanted to play for the. Am I lying or not?
Oh my God! Listen, I don't know. I didn't see.
Let's put a pin in it. Let's put a pin in it. I don't think we're going to come to an agreeable solution on this one. We'll definitely bring this one back. But next up, what we have is another hot topic, and 2 of our Phenomenal announcers and broadcasters. They have a topic themselves. And I want to make sure I put the topic out here. Mr. Play to Win the Game versus Aunt Kyler for football or Kyler for baseball. We let's talk about Kyler Murray. Did he make the right decision? And where is he now? And what is he doing? I hate Kyler Murray, by the way. This is me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know me. I think Kyler Murray, I started out, Brad, tell you what I think. I think Kyler Murray myself should have gone pro in baseball. Of course, at the time when he was coming out of college, he was like a top 80 baseball prospect and was projected to be a first-round pick that year. And, of course, he did go first round, drafted number 9 overall to the Oakland A's. When you look at it, he was offered $14 million by the Oakland A's to play baseball. But, of course, you know, he had his sight on playing football. And we already knew Kyler Murray had a good year that year at Oklahoma. And they was, you know, feeding him that he was going to be a top pick. So, of course, he went with football. But I think why I'm saying he should have done baseball is because, for one, he was 5'10". We know 5'10" quarterbacks do not have very, very successful careers in the NFL. Of course, to give you one that slid by, you know, Russell Westbrook. I mean, not Westbrook, but Russell Wilson, who was about 5'11". Drew Brees, another one. Those guys did go on to win a ring or whatnot. But when you're talking about his play at college for baseball, I mean, you're talking about somebody that had 10 home runs, you know, 47 RBIs, 10 stolen bases. I think he had already peaked out as a football player, where he had, you know, more of a ceiling to get better as a baseball player. And of course, you know, the guaranteed money in the MLB, like the NFL contracts really is not touching the MLB when it comes to the guaranteed money. So my take is, like I said, once again is I think Kyler Murray should have gone to play professional football, baseball.
All right, it's my turn.
Yeah.
I know you got some shorts and flip flops on with that suit jacket, but I'm gonna take it further back. I'm gonna show you that the legend of Kyler Murray was bigger than what he did at Oklahoma. Now, you know football good. High school football, they says bigger where? Texas. Kyler Murray's high school record was 42-0 in high school. He won 3 straight state championships. He passed for over 10,000 yards, 100 touchdowns, and only 16 picks. His senior year in high school, he had 54 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Guess how many rushing yards he had? 1,500. This is one season. He is said to be the greatest football player, not just quarterback, but football player in the state of Texas, high school. Now, let me give you some names of some players that came out of Texas football. Earl Campbell, Zach Thomas, who was a Hall of Fame linebacker for the Miami Dolphins. Mean Joe Green, Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, Tim Brown, Michael Strahan, Earl Thomas, Eric Dickerson, Adrian Peterson, Patrick Mahomes, Von Miller, Doak Walker, who's on the award for top running backs in college football, Vince Young, and many more. So to say that guy was the greatest high school player to ever come out of Texas tells you where his legend began. And then he went to Texas A&M. He only played 8 games as a freshman, but as a sophomore, he transferred to Oklahoma. He was behind Baker Mayfield. So he only played in 8 games his sophomore year. He didn't have a lot of stats, but his stats were 18 of 21 passing, 359 yards, and 3 touchdowns, which set up his junior year in which he threw for 4,361 yards, 42 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and won the Heisman Trophy. Now,
I give him that. He did a great job. I mean, those numbers, college, from high school to college, those are superb numbers. I mean, off the chart, 42-0 in high school. I mean, hey, that's great. That's excellent. But let's talk about. I mean, we're surpassed those years. You know what I'm saying? High school and college, we're gone past those. Let's talk about what he's done in the NFL. 5 season ends, he's won. He went what? His first year he went what? 8-8. Second year he went I think. Not 8-8. As a matter of fact, it may have been what 3-13. Let me. I got my paper right here. Let's see, 3-13. But what I will say is he really have not done it. Yeah, 5-10. My bad. It was 5-10. He went 5-10 his first year. All right. Second year he went 8-8. Okay. Now things are starting to look up for Kyler. All right. That year he went 11-6. But since then, I mean, we're talking about in 5 seasons, this guy has only had 2 winning seasons. 2 winning seasons as an NFL quarterback, and God forbid, he can't continue to run around like he's doing. His arm's going to have to get better.
That's correct. But in that division, you had the Rams, the 49ers, and Seahawks. The Cardinals front office has done a terrible job of putting talent around him. I know he's 5'10", 5'0", whatever. He's short. I get that. Mm-hmm. That's a problem. But that's a problem that they knew when they drafted him.
Mm-hmm.
The man, when he came in, he had an old Larry Fitzgerald and a second-year receiver in Christian Kirk. Mm-hmm. Then they come back the next year and get D-Hop. Now, D-Hop was in his prime. That was Kyler's best opportunity to have, nice pieces around him. But if you go back and look at that offensive line, they never got better. From the time he got there till now, they still terrible. They can't block nobody.
I agree. They can't. And this is
why they had to face Aaron Donald. They had to face a 49ers defense and a Seahawks defense that was tough. So it's been tough on Kyler. Now, not to take up for him now, not to say that not to say that he's not he shouldn't have been, he should have better numbers.
80. He's
not a great quarterback,
Right.
But they finally you would think they're trying to do better. They went out and got Marvin Harrison Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's one receiver. You know who on the other side of him? Can you tell me?
I have no clue. Bang, bang, down the guy.
Michael Wilson, a rookie from last year. Exactly. 38 catches, and he the number 2 receiver.
Okay.
So, they finally got him a running back. Mm-hmm. He had one running back go 1,000 yards. That was James Conner last year. Because Kyler Murray only played 8 games, so they had to run the ball because the backup quarterback was terrible. So, hopefully, Trey Benson can give him a running game.
Yes, sir.
So, but, I think Kyler made the right decision playing football. Because baseball players can play late into their years. He can finish his career next year in football and still go back and play baseball.
He can.
Hey, listen, you guys have brought out some.
He couldn't do vice versa now. He couldn't start off in baseball and play 10 years and come to football.
Hey, CTE. You know what I'm saying? CTE, man.
So he had to go the route he went.
Yeah. Hey, listen, another amazing show. I appreciate you guys for coming on. I always learn something on Wednesday. Now I feel like I'm in class, like a night class. One of those classes, like, man, I go to class. I know I'm gonna learn a little something. I appreciate you guys for doing your homework above and beyond, coming on, speaking all etiquette and performing and doing your homework. So it makes the show just as much more lively and interesting. So. Because it's not like we're shooting it we're not in the barbershop, right? So you guys are bringing it, and I just want to tell you I appreciate it. It's time for your parting shots, and I'm gonna let you all work it out amongst yourselves. Who goes first? Who's ready for your parting shot?
I'll go. I ain't no big deal. I'll go first. Because I know these great gentlemen got some great words. But listen, I heard Michael Beasley, former NBA player, say something interesting on YouTube. He was coaching a team, and one of the things he told a guy, he said, man, Don't be afraid to be great. He said sometimes people are afraid of greatness, not because they're afraid to be great, but because they're afraid we're going to ask them to do it again. And the truth of the matter is that with a lot of people, with a lot of us, myself included, sometimes we shy away from those big pressure moments in life, not because we can't do it, but sometimes because we'll be asked to duplicate it. And the true measure of success is not if you can do it one time, but if you can do it multiple times. So go out, listen, go out, each one of you, go out, be great. But don't be great just for greatness' sake. Be great because you know that you can replicate and produce the results, not just once, but twice. Be great when it matters. Be great consistently and be great always.
It's dope. Appreciate it. Who's next?
I'll go. So my parting shot is going to be still with Kyler Murray. Okay. You know, Kyler Murray just signed a big contract. You know, they had the thing in this contract about must study 4 hours a day. Do you know why they had that in there?
Didn't watch film.
No. When does Call of Duty come out? October.
All right.
So they said from the beginning of the NFL year until October when Call of Duty comes out, Kyler Murray's fantasy numbers were like 22.5 or something. October to the end of the year when Call of Duty come out, 17.2. So it drops. Kyler Murray is in FaZe Clan, was one of the top Call of Duty groups out. He's a part of FaZe Clan, just like Bronny James. So Kyler and Bronny get off Call of Duty and get in your sport if you want to improve and get better. Simple as that. You can't play Call of Duty like Brad and TA and Jamie and Ant play Call of Duty.
Oh,
we don't have we don't have the type of jobs you have.
I love it. Love it. A little accountability. Appreciate it, B. And B, CT, who's next?
I really don't have a parting shot for for today. You know, I really did a lot of homework on trying to debate this thing with Brad about Kyler Murray. So once again, I just say I thank you all for tuning in, and hey, you see it.
Yeah, pop your collar.
Pop my collar. That's all I got for tonight.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Come on with it, CT.
Man, I just want to lift up people, man, around the community and around, you know, our particular community, people that we know, friends and family. You know, the pursuit of happiness. You know, everybody is driven towards happiness. They want to be happy, you know, but I want to encourage people to invest in themselves, invest in where you are. Don't plant seeds outside of your environment when you hadn't planted seeds in your personal environment. I'm going to leave with some parting words from a quote from Mr. Denzel Washington. He says, beware of the destination of addiction. The idea that happiness is in the next place, the next job, or even the next partner. Until you give that idea up, that happiness is in some other place, it will never be with you.
Yeah,
That's
dope. I appreciate it, CT.
No doubt.
Guys, I appreciate it as always. Let's see. That's a wrap for today's episode of Mike Talk Podcast. Thanks for joining us for all the latest insights and debates in the world of sports. Be sure to tune in next week for more exciting discussions and expert analysis. Before we go, here's a little known sports fact to impress your friends with. Did you know that Michael Phelps has won more Olympic gold medals, 23, than 161 countries have in their entire history of competing in the Olympics? Thanks again for listening. And as always, stay passionate, stay informed, and see you next time.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All the latest trending topics, we gon' talk about it. If you really about it, tune on in, no need to sign it. Go and hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All the latest trending topics, we gon' talk about it. If you really about it, tune on in, no need to sign it. Go and hit the like button and sign up to subscribe it. It started off with Mr. Brady, play the game to win it. Whatever that you think you analyzing, he gon' spin it. C-note on the money, get it straight from the beginning. Hit you with some quotes before you know it's gon' be trending. These boys ain't no rookies, they some veterans like VA. That's why we got real ones on the team like that boy TA. No, I ain't for GA, but I do keep it the G-way. Just like that boy B when he breaking down the replays. Let me pick your brain, who you pick to win the game. Cause I can't pick a thing until I hear from Jamie Drain. See, sum it up, come have some fun with us from 8 to 9. We do this every Wednesday, talking sports, we going live. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.